So you see this OLL right here? You can do R, U2, R prime, and then you can keep going and cancel into a sledgehammer, and then U2 again. In this case right here, it's like these two edges. It can be solved with sledgehammer, and that orients the corners as well. So a sledgehammer is like, it's like a 4-move trigger. It goes R prime, F, R, F prime. And there's also another one that I'm going to talk about today, and it's the reverse or the inverse. It's basically just the reverse of the algorithm. It goes F, R prime, F prime, R. And yeah, it's just the reverse, as you can see. So what the sledgehammer can do is it can use to be orient edges. So for example, let me just solve these pairs. And got that, I guess. And here, so this OLL right here, and it's also very commonly used in algorithms, as you can see, as I demonstrated at the beginning. So I solved it by putting it here, and RU2, R2 cancel into a sledgehammer, and then RU2. So let's analyze that algorithm. So if you just do this, you can see these two edges. So for a sledgehammer to work, the edges that you're going to be orienting, the top color always has to be here and here, like, because that will move this up here and that will move this back here, and this will just hide this and it'll be preserved, and that solves OLL. So the thing about the sledgehammer is it can actually be used like at the end of F2L to like avoid a dot OLL. Like for example, if I just set this up, maybe I'm gonna set up a dot OLL like that, and then I take out this, so you can see this right here, and usually dot cases are pretty bad like that one. So you can actually just put this here and insert a different way, like using the sledgehammer, R prime, F, R prime, F prime. And you can see these two edges are in the same two positions that were needed. And now they're oriented. And now you actually end up with a pretty good case, like that one. So it's very helpful for stuff like that. And I'm about to show you some other stuff that the sledgehammer can do. So like, let's say we're on like 5x5, right? Or like any big cube that includes 4x4. Yeah, this will work. In edge pairing, this works for Yao and reduction. Yeah, I'll just call it reduction. So I can set up a case here where I need to like flip an edge or use the flipping algorithm like this. So this right here, this is a pretty familiar case on 5x5. Here it's just like alternating, and this needs to be flipped, and it's the same thing, this needs to be flipped. So you can just move one, like you can move this over here, or you can move this over here. But since I'm right-handed, it's actually better to do it over here. So the flipping algorithm actually goes like this. You take the edge out, and then you actually do the reverse of the sledgehammer, because that's like inserting edge like flipped. So this actually works, and yeah, it solves the case. So the sledgehammer, or the inverse of it, can also be used to set up F2L cases to insert. So this edge right here, in this corner right here. So usually what I used to do is I would rotate, because it looks like I have to do that, and I just take it out normally, and I actually do F moves to insert like that. But what you can actually do instead is, without rotating, just do a sledgehammer and then insert it. So it's actually pretty fast, and let's count how many moves that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I guess I could say it's efficient. and you don't have to rotate, so it should be faster and obviously more reliable. So not only does this work on 3x3 and up, it also obviously works on 2x2. It's like the same 3x3 algorithms like that. So for like certain CLLs or like OLLs, if you use Ortega, it's like, so you would notice this pattern of stickers if you use Ortega, and you would just do the reverse the sledgehammer and then a reverse sexy move, and that's a pretty easy algorithm and a very common algorithm, and it's the same algorithm for this CLL case. So it still goes past 2x2, and there's a lot of cases of sledgehammers like Pyraminx. This may not count, but actually sledgehammers it's basically a sledgehammer. If I just do this, it's like this. So if I can actually, I think it better be explained with the 2x2. So this is like the equivalent of this, but not exactly a corner. It's more of it's an edge. And since the bottom color is on here, it's usually, I can either do this, but I actually prefer to do this. And this is the same thing for this. It's like this. You replace it, and then you bring it back up. So it's the same. It's the same thing. So you bring it down, you move out of the way, and then undo those two moves in the same order. And even past Pyraminx, of course, we have Skew, which is, so it's like this, right? So this, of course, affects Skew in a different way because it doesn't act like any of those other things. It's pretty much its own thing. So the thing is, actually, why this is still useful, because like it's actually in one of the fastest algorithms or cases you can get, which is like a U-perm, and there's only one way a U-perm can show up. It's always this, and you always go to the one with the center that is opposite to the corners, or I honestly have no idea what they're called. So you just do sledgehammer here, rotate around like twice or halfway around, and do another sledgehammer again. And that's not mentioning the other cases in intermediate skew kind of stuff. Is like when there's the corners, it's like this, it's like the pi OLO, and it's this, and this yellow center has a yellow corner on the left. Sledgehammer, and we totally shouldn't forget about the reverse of that. Oh, whoops. Oh no, my skew skills. Like this. So, Piola once again, but except the yellow corner is on the right of the yellow center. So like if you were somewhere here and you just finished your layer, you would find the yellow center, and it's like right here. And that's the reverse. So what I'm be doing next is actually showing a 3x3 example solve with some sledgehammers and the reverse of it to show these techniques like applied. So I've scrambled the cube, and I'll just go with white cross for all the viewers out there who are not color neutral. So I would probably go about this by orange, blue, and then misaligning this so I can insert red and green, and then realign the cross. So what we see here is this pair. So we can just do that and insert back here. Same for this pair. It's already rotationless and quite efficient. So for the third pair, we do that into here. And here's where we need to use the sledgehammer. So like I talked about for setting up F-tool cases, it's not always for orienting edges. You can just put it here, do this, and U2, and then this. And we end up actually solving EO, so, and we got a suitcase really good. And yellow. So of course, I'll do a second solve and see if I can run into any other cases that could use the sledgehammer. Red, actually do green first, green, red, orange. So here we have this pair rotationless, and here is where it's misoriented. So instead, we could do something like this. We could rotate this way or any way, but I'll go this way. And here, you can insert it. So I could go this one or this one at the back, and I already know, like, since the blue-red edge, and if I'm looking for the blue-red edge, when I was here earlier, so earlier in the solve when I was doing this pair, I saw this edge and how it was not blue-red, so this has to be blue-red. So I'll go ahead and do this pair because it's rotationless. And since I only did U, R, and well, yes, I also did L moves, it did not affect the orientation of this edge, so it is still disoriented. So I'll take it out, pair it out like that, and if I were to, like, if I really hated dot olos or something, I'll rotate and insert. In the end, it's faster for me to do the reverse of the sledgehammer, and the dot olo I get, like, this is actually a decent one. So that's olo, and since this is an example solve, I'll go ahead and finish it off with the J-perm. So this is actually one of my first videos where I actually did like a real kind of cubing topic that actually, and it was a really fun idea for me to brainstorm and actually learn more F2L stuff on the way, because why not learning free F2L stuff? That's always good. I mean, right? Unless you're using Rue. And I don't know what to do. Sorry.